Hello everyone, sorry to interrupt that song. But this time is for Sweet Canal. What's up everyone? It has been a while. This week has been long and I hope you enjoyed the previous episode where we talked about meaningful gifts and we talked about sharing food and recycle and some personal stories here and there, and we love the environment so much. I'm sorry, Mohammed. Are you biased with the environment? Yeah. It gives me air and breathe and flowers to go around. I hope you had so much fun so far. We're about to wrap up 2018 pretty soon. I hope you have a very good Christmas plans. I know I do. Luke, how is Oliver doing?
He's doing good. So, what is the topic of, what's the rundown of topics today?
I put a lot of topics out. I came here really early in the studio, so I decided to put like about 10 or 9 topics.
Okay.
All right. So
what's our first one?
first one can be a PSA actually. So in the United States, people move around a lot. Not even in the United States and other countries as well. So what I gained from my knowledge from moving around is, other than checking the area, if it's checking the area online, checking the area on Google, if it has highways around it, is it noisy or not, is this apartment complex is good or not, and so on. Other than all of that, so I like to walk around the building or walk around the complex, not just park my car in the garage and leave and so on. I like to just walk around and see, like, all right, I'm gonna go to the third floor and see how can I exit from the back door from there. What side of the street will it take me to, and so on. So I'm gonna start walking over here, I'm gonna start walking over there, I'm gonna start walking around the neighborhood, and I can take it to a further extent. So when I start to try to jog or run or walk around, I would just figure out how the neighborhood connects with each other. So when I started in the neighborhood, I didn't know where things are. I cannot even find my building with GPS. But now I know where the good parking is. I know how to get there from, if I don't go on the main streets. So knowing your exits and entrances in the building is also beneficial from another point of view, which is an emergency. In case of an emergency, you will be able to know your exits pretty well, like already, like I know where to go, like immediately, and so on. So I picked up that habit from my brother. He works in another city other than his, and he's like, yeah, I know where this is, I know where is that, I know how to get to this shop, and I know how to get to that shop. And I'm like, how do you know all of this? It was before Google Maps. Yeah, so how do you know all of this? He said 12, 1 or 2 a.m. I would just go outside, drive around the city, figure out where things are. So it will basically draw an actual mental map for him. It's still good till today though. So you don't need, if you run into GPS problems and so on, you will not need to stare down your phone to know where should you go. So it starts from a little building, then a neighborhood, then a whole map. Knowing east and west, where east and west is also important. Alright, so here is one segment that's called Just In Case. That was a segment that's called Just In Case. Alright. The next thing we will talk about is try to do it yourself. Trying to do it yourself. Alright, so as long as it does not put you in immediate danger. So basically is what I'm trying to say here. There's a lot of videos online that you can find to try to do it yourself stuff, right? But some of them are difficult, some of them are not. Depends how handy you are. So if you are pretty good with pipes, water pipes, plumbing, and electricity, maybe try to do that. But if it's too dangerous or you don't know the basics that you can get electrified when you use metal, do not do that. Another brother of mine took the habit out of my picked up the habit after my father. He started buying tools and messing around in the house. Now, like before, when my father worked at the house, we never needed a plumbing job. We never needed electrician and so on. I don't know what the electrician of the neighborhood looks like. I have no idea. But now my brother.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's neat.
It's very sustainable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being able to take care of everything.
Yeah, it has its own stresses, but it's still good.
You save a lot of money that way.
So much money, unimaginable. And if you got skilled far enough, you will like kind of spread around to your friends' houses. If you are really into it, you can make money out of it, or like free dinner. So my brother picked up a habit after my dad. He can do plumbing job and electrician stuff like that. He has now a whole cabinet full of tools, and I have a screwdriver if that counts. And pliers too. I don't know, because I need to change the fuses on my car sometimes. So back in 2014/15, my car speakers needed some upgrades. It's pretty good. You can hear it, all right. You can jam on it if there is something nice on the radio. But but I decided to buy speakers, and car work in the United States it's pretty expensive, and I did not have the money for it at that time. So I went to a certain website. I wish I can remember it right now. And you can check for your car model and make and how much watts you want. They will send you the speakers. They will send you actually temporary small tapes, and they will send you also like basically everything you need except a plier. Maybe it can go up to the point where you just need a screwdriver, and it has a pretty good manual instructions on it. I spent an afternoon trying to do it, and it's a decoration problem because you need to take the door decoration out. Other than that, it took me like just say a couple of hours and it was done. I saved a lot, and I have a better speaker in the car. Years go by, I still use them till this day. Sometimes they disconnect, which is my own fault usually, but I know how to fix it. So I'm just saying that if you can do it yourself, just go ahead and do it, as long as you don't put yourself in immediate danger. And don't mess things around, because the handyman will show up and say, oh, this will be more expensive. So keep your mind around that.
Yeah, I like to do things myself if I can, but I don't want to make things worse, and I like being as efficient as possible. I do like watching videos on how to do it yourself, and continue to seek advice from those YouTube videos.
Facebook too. Facebook has some videos sometimes, but usually for show, not really to show you how to do it. Like on YouTube, you can see that guy actually works on those stuff. He's not a professional photographer or filmmaker. It's just like, this is how you do it, and this is how that done. And I found many solutions about my car on YouTube. And luckily, some cars designs last for more than 5 years. They change the outside shape, but they don't change the inside shape. So do it yourself. One of the nice things to grab on in life, it's to be present in the moment. So one of the closest examples is I'm sitting here right now recording this episode, and I'm having plenty of fun. Afterwards, I might get something to eat. I might go here and there, or I'll just start doing some homework, or I might be that's the end of my day. But I'm thinking about that a little bit. Sometimes thinking about the future or the past takes you away from now. So I might start to think like, what I'm gonna do next. I have a job interview and it is pretty difficult. I start thinking about that. I grab on into it. It causes more, let's say, stress or worry. If you want to treat your brain as a computer CPU, like 50 or 60 or even 80% of it will be busy or occupied with the future or the past. Therefore, 20% or 30% of you are just present in here. And sometimes that's okay, sometimes, but not all the time. So there's an exercise you can remind yourself. It's basically the rubber band of your mind, where you try to catch yourself thinking about another timeline other than the present. And as soon as you catch yourself over there, you pull yourself back into this time. And I'm like, I'm driving now down the highway, and I'm thinking about like something in the past or in the future. It's okay to think sometimes, but if it drags you away where you don't even remember you reached the destination, you were on autopilot for a while, and you need to like kind of go back to your present. It's okay to think a little bit about the past. It's where you gain experience, where you gained experience, and it's okay to think about the future where plans set place. But try to grab yourself always and come back to this moment and right here. Wishing that you are in another place, the internet makes you think or want to be somewhere else. And when you are somewhere else, you want to be somewhere else. And if you go there, you want to be somewhere else. It's just constant. So the solution is to not have a private jet with you, takes you whatever you want. The solution is for you to grab yourself and put yourself into the moment. Plan ahead, think about the past, but do not let it drag you from today, from now at least. What's your take on that?
I think staying in the moment is really important, and I know that I do my best when I'm doing both, but I think that being in the moment is also about being grateful for what's taking place right then and there. And a lot of times it's the gratitude that we forget about right now that we want to get excited about or anticipate in the future, or maybe just the action of doing something or receiving something or being with someone in the same vicinity of a certain person's energy. Those are all powerful things. I like to make lists of what I need to do. I think making lists allows me to organize my present and future. And if I'm behind, then that goes on the past, stuff that I need to do presently, and I get moves up the list. But I'm pretty good on lists. I always have to pull myself back to the list so I can keep getting things checked off the list. Currently I'm on a list that was made on October 18th, and I made that new list after making one on October 9th and getting everything done that week that was also behind. I'm behind on assignments, behind on tests. I've been really behind. So the list will help me catch up.
Yeah, of course. Like, what should I do today? What is due today? Nothing? Cool. Well, there's always something. I know.
Well, there may not be something due today, but tomorrow there will be. And
Yes.
that means you gotta be working on it. It's a constant. When you get that, going back to a topic last week, when you get that assignment, you just read it. I'm gonna tie it into this as well. But reading that assignment up front lets your mind start thinking about it, and then you don't feel like it was such a burden to your time schedule, because you've already started integrating it into your mind, your thinking process.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you schedule time for yourself, it's a very complicated thing, scheduling time. I mean, especially if you're a very busy person, because to do things well, you have to be in the moment, and you have to be giving each entity or thing time that it deserves. And so it's really difficult. We just don't have enough time in the day. And then if you try to put 2 days into one, where you pull an all-nighter and stay up all night, then you start suffering on that next 24-hour period.
Yeah, you're borrowing time from tomorrow.
I keep trying to do that. Sometimes I can, sometimes I'm real bad.
I remember that this weekend, I'm like, yeah, I have an assignment and I haven't read it yet. It has been out for 2 weeks and it's due next week, and I haven't read it. Oh, I have to. I talked about it in my radio show, and I don't work on it. Like, I'm not trying to be fake, so therefore the radio show pushed me into like reading that assignment, and I know what it's about now, what they want from me, and what is due. I like to make lists too. I think lists are one of the best things ever. Physical paper list, not like a computer list. Computer list.
Physical paper list. That's right.
Yeah, it's
Not
like
on your cell phone.
That's why I am here doing this on Post-it notes. I could have just printed a paper, like elegant, squared and stuff, but that doesn't work for me yet, maybe.
Okay.
So put it on a Post-it notes. I know how I wrote it. I would remember much more than it would be printed. The way I put it here, maybe even if I copied it and put it on scanned it or something, like, well, just stick with the sticky note. I like sticky notes. It's handwriting. So going back to the list thing is, I make a list of things I need to do. Sometimes it's under classes names. Sometimes under home. Sometimes it's outside of home. Sometimes it's something for home. Sometimes when I go to Miami, for example, I'm gonna buy this and that, and I'm gonna do this and that, and I make a list as well. I try to do my best to stay ahead of my schedule, because I know myself that someday I'm gonna be too tired to do anything, even though I have planned the whole day, and I can't do it. I just like sit down. I would still at the same time feel guilty, or I might be not as productive as people expect me to be, or I expect myself to be. So.
How productive do you expect yourself to be?
Well, I pretty productive. 8 out of 10, maybe.
In my life, I've had periods when I was very productive, periods where I was planning for a time of productivity, which there is that time too, and then I've been, not productive. But overall, always trying to get something done, accomplished. Something edited, something written, something done every day, taking a step towards in the process towards the goal. It's tough being so time oriented because also if you're a time-oriented person and you have a family and you're trying to work with your family to get things done, that can be a good father, be a good dad, a good husband or boyfriend, getting it all done. You have very little time for yourself. The time that you have for yourself either has to be allocated very specifically to the family, that this is when dad does this, you just have to understand that, or it has to be early in the morning or late at night, or it has to be away during the day when you're away from home, supposedly at work. Well, you could have lunch break. Instead of taking lunch, you go to the gym. Because the gym's really important for your mental health and wellness, because this time schedule that we're on, it will wear you thin. It will wear you out, like grinding on your gears of your inner system. That's what it's like. And you don't have any oil. You need the gym. You need the God. You need spiritual development. You need to eat well. You need to drink the water to keep the gears running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You always need time for yourself. Like, you know, like if we are emotionless robots, we would be able, like, we'll be far more advanced than today. But like stress is a pretty big issue. Like if you have stress from your life, especially if you cannot make time for yourself in order to release that stress. I could hear your neck.
That's from the stress and the time frames I'm on. But I make this show.
I'm very grateful for that, by the way.
I was really sad yesterday. I was not in class. We're moving from Liberty down closer to school. It's just too difficult. And we're dealing with one car. And where we're moving, most likely we'll have a bus stop nearby, which saves me because it's great having a bus pass. I love it coming to school here. We're about to start registration for spring 2019.
I already got my list.
You do?
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
just waiting for the time.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna check that out too. See what's going on.
Yeah. We'll meet. Maybe we'll have some classes together. You know, we don't know. I have to check my list to see if I think I'm taking a couple of majors. I have to take a couple of majors, but
They said I'm a senior, but I still have.
one.
It seems like a lot left. They said I'm in the senior status now, which is real disappointing because apparently that means I missed applying for all the awards I could apply for as a junior, which is really disappointing. So maybe.
All I know is the non-residence award for me.
I mean like for postgraduate, like there's stuff after, like you're supposed to apply for when you're a junior. And I just missed that. So now I'm applying for things that are senior and post-undergrad. Yeah, you will. You'll do this stuff too. You've got a couple years. When are you supposed to graduate?
Next year.
You should start thinking about it. So you can go to the Fellowship and Award and International Study Abroad program, which is in the, I don't know if they consider that the basement. It's like floor 1 of the Atterbury Student Success Center.
Yeah, the
It's on the-
SAO.
Yeah, it's on the same level as the cafeteria.
Yeah, I think the SAO is on a lower level. But if you hit the back door, it's on the ground. So I don't know.
Right,
Yeah.
that's correct. That's correct.
It's pretty confusing. So UMKC is basically on a
hill.
a messed up hill.
Well, it's a beautiful hill, and they were really wise about how they built things.
All right, we gotta build the school over there. There's a lot of hills. Oh, well, we'll give the students a little
Exercise.
Yeah.
A little exercise.
Yeah, my
Give
legs
them a little
hurt.
pep in their step as they're walking from class to class. That's right.
That's right. Even sometimes going downhill or uphill, it hurts.
Well, that's why the buildings here are real pretty though. I love walking from one to the other. I feel best when I'm here out of the day. I like being at home too, with my family, but I feel good here. Not best, but I feel good, and like I'm being really productive.
That's part of it.
I'd like to be spending more time here, but I want to be able to balance things. And that goes back to time. That goes back to time, and if I had a car, my own car, we're sharing a car right now for insurance purpose reasons, and just trying to budget.
Budget in.
I need to budget in another car.
Budget. Budget. Right, so there are some things that you cannot change, and there are some things that you can change. For example, when I came into this room, it was a little bit different than this current setup. So I fixed the mics, fixed the screen, and tried moved on some chairs, changed what I could have changed in order to make this comfortable for me. But what I cannot change is the weather. When an airplane gets delayed, when an Uber driver does not show up, I mean, you can just order another one, but or wait for a plane, or stay inside until the weather gets better, or turn on the AC or the heat. But there are some things that you cannot change. So, can change. So if you are feeling bad towards something that you have done, what you can change is to apologize. What you cannot change is that person forgiving you. You cannot make a person forgive you. You can tell a person that
that you're sorry.
That you are sorry.
And also how it's affected you, what your actions were that were negative. You know, it maybe it affected that other person, but it probably affected you too. The cause and effect.
The cause and effect.
The teeter-totter of life. The yin to the yang, man.
You can tell a person that you love them, but you cannot change the way they feel about you. If they love you, they will still love you. If you don't, they won't. You cannot change it. You can work around it where you become a nice person, not for love purposes only. It's because you actually do love them. And be that person that you are, a good, creative and caring person. And that might influence the way they feel about you. So they would say, well, you said you are sorry, or you said that you love me, but show me before you say it. I think I like to, I hate that word though, but showing to a person your feelings is far more effective than just saying it. I can write poetry all day, but it doesn't resemble, or doesn't it's not equal as much as, alright, when you were gone, I cleaned the house. When you were gone, I went through the shopping list and found things that you might like. When you were gone, I started the Word document for you so you can do your assignment. Saying sorry is, you have to figure out your own way other than just saying that you're sorry. You can show your apology on a physical level. Someday I'm gonna talk about my trip from Saudi Arabia to Dallas to Texas. But there is a part of it where it was stressful and something I cannot change.
On the trip?
Yes. So I was in Dallas already, and I found a guy who is from Saudi Arabia, and he said my trip after a couple of hours got canceled, so they gave me a hotel to stay in and some money to buy some food until tomorrow. And he hadn't left the airport yet. And when my trip came, we went to the boarding thing, we went through the gates and everything, and we sat in the airplane started to back out. Everybody's happy, the guy next to me is talking on the phone, they're like, yeah, I'll be home soon, and the other one is like the same thing too, and I'm excited.
This is from Saudi Arabia to Dallas.
No, it was Saudi Arabia to Emirates, from Emirates to Dallas, and from Dallas to Kansas City, so that Dallas to Kansas, that plane will take me to home.
Okay.
And I'm texting my friends, I'll be in the airport soon, please pick me up. Because it's a pretty short flight, it's about 2 hours or an hour and a half, and if you want to include everything, it's 2 hours and so on. And Kansas City airport is pretty domestic and pretty small, so you can get through it, and all I need to wait is for the luggage. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Has free Wi-Fi.
I have had a trip at 6 in the morning and gotten there at 5:45, 5:30 and gotten through. That's great.
That's great.
Cameron will drop me off and just run in there and get on the plane. That makes it life easy, doing that instead of waiting for 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's one of the downsides of switching this airport to an international one. It's pretty the location is pretty good, but it would kind of serves us well a little bit.
The simplicity of the airport. It is.
Yeah.
But God, it used to feel like it was really busy up there a lot. I don't know where else people are flying out of. Where are they going to Chicago to fly out? They're driving over to Chicago or St. Louis. And they can't drive 4 hours to St. Louis, or they drive. I know that Manhattan has an airport. They take flights in from Dallas. You can, if you want to fly from Manhattan, Kansas to LA, you can catch a flight down to Dallas and then over to LA. And if you're flying from LA into Manhattan, Kansas, like if you're a K-Stater, Wildcat, because part of my family lives there, so I know this. So you can. It's great. You can't do that in Lawrence.
In order for me to leave this country, I would have to go to Kansas City Airport, then Chicago, or New York, or Dallas, or Washington, or LA, and then leave.
Right.
So then I'll land in Europe, or somewhere in Europe, Amsterdam, or like Germany, Frankfurt, somewhere there, and then from there to Saudi, or Bahrain, or Kuwait, or Riyadh, and then another flight to Dammam, which is the closest airport.
Wow.
So sometimes my brother would offer to pick me up from Bahrain, which is the closest outside of Saudi, or pick me up from Dammam. Depends how things work.
And if you're being picked up in Bahrain, and when he drives across the border, how challenging is that?
2 hours and a half if it's not a weekend.
But on the border, how challenging is it to get through?
Well, it was pretty challenging. It was very difficult because it's like you have to wait in line and such. But now, the weekend is difficult. Other than that, they have tollways.
Express.
Yeah, it's like 10 lines or more. It doesn't feel like a bridge anymore. It doesn't. It just feels like an island, basically. It's like there's a McDonald's over there.
McDonald's.
And there's a supermarket over there. There's a place where you can pray.
The mosque.
Yeah. There's a place where you can park your car actually and leave it there. Some people meet on the bridge and then take just one car to get in instead of 3 cars.
There's a bridge from Saudi Arabia to Bahrain.
Yes.
Oh, that's what the border is?
Yes.
How nice. That's pretty neat. It's a beautiful bridge, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the white one.
Yes.
Okay, I know which one it is.
Yeah. It used to be you have to stop and fill up a form, but now all I have to do is just see a license plate and pull all the information. You also need to purchase a 3-day at least insurance for Bahrain to get in.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of insurance?
It's car
your
insurance.
life? Oh. It's for your car.
It's for your car.
Okay.
It's for your car insurance.
I don't know. I felt great over there. I loved it. I had a blast. I get along with all my friends in the Middle East, but you know, people are very questionable. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now over there with the journalist.
All right.
We don't have to talk about that, but Peter would want to talk about that in class probably. We should. Did they bring that up? In class?
No. I actually arrived late, but they didn't.
Okay.
They talked about ethical decisions that you have to take, whether you blow your cover or not, deception and such. You know.
So I wonder if this journalist blew his cover. Maybe he was too known. I think he was probably too popular and known, and so there was no cover.
I wouldn't know. But Bahrain is a good country, and I love it over there. So
I do too.
All right.
I've had
All
that
right.
time.
So I'm trying to connect again. All right. So Kansas City domestic. What's the other thing? It's a longer flight than usual, but we don't have to wait in Kansas City. So when I land in Dallas or Chicago, I would go through the immigration and be done with it already. I wouldn't mind going through immigration in Kansas City airport. I wouldn't mind because it's gonna save at least 3 hours. Sometimes it takes 3 hours to go through immigration. Because like I go through immigration in Chicago, wait 2 hours or 3, and then fly again for 2 hours. So that would save me like 5 hours.
Well, what you're saying is that there's going to be direct flights though from Saudi Arabia here.
From Saudi Arabia to here, I don't think so.
No.
Not yet.
So when that's not going to happen. So when you do touch down, if it's a direct flight from Saudi Arabia to Chicago, you have to go through immigration there. You wouldn't have to go through immigration here because you'd be domestic already and you'd transfer from international to domestic. So you'd be fine. You'll never go through immigration here in Kansas City, I promise. I don't think that there will ever be direct flights from Saudi Arabia to Kansas City. I do not.
Not yet.
I don't think so.
But what I'm saying is, instead of landing in Chicago, I would just prefer to land like Saudi Arabia to Frankfurt, for example, and Frankfurt to Kansas City. That would save me a lot, like 5 hours.
That would be nice.
And effort. It used to be that way with Houston when I used to live there. I just Saudi Arabia to Qatar, for example, from Qatar to Houston. That's it.
That's amazing.
It's a long 16-hour flight.
Why they have a direct flight to Houston is because of all the internationals that work in the oil, that has a major hub and epicenter in Houston and in Saudi Arabia. So those individuals are constantly going back and forth. And there's, I don't know how many, tens or hundreds of thousands of those individuals engaged with the oil work. Petroleum. That's what they call it over there,
Petroleum. I see Aramco's logo in Houston. It's on the 6th. Usually when you are in the loop, you will see it on your right.
Aramco? Is that a Saudi company?
Yes. Saudi Arabia Aramco. Aramco. I don't know what that's short for.
Aramco.
Yeah, Arabic American Aramco. Something like that. Arabic American company or something like that.
I haven't seen that.
They're pretty famous.
Yes, I know.
It's a hard working environment.
Oil drilling, distillery, conversion. It's all intense. Dangerous and intense.
So when I was in Dallas, I was waiting for the flight to fly to Kansas City. I was excited. We spent about 40 minutes waiting for the storm to calm down, waiting for the tower to give us orders to say, all right, give us the permission to fly. Long story short, they did not. I was exhausted. Now if I look back at it, I would say I just accept the condition. What I'm gonna do, cry in the airport, like just like go on a tantrum? I cannot do that, obviously. And I couldn't change it, so my way to work around it is that I met another Saudi friend. We decided to rent a car and go, because the airline company did not offer us a hotel like the other guy. They just ignored and switched off all of their services. It's like, all right, we don't know, we don't care. The restaurants are closing down, so we're gonna, like, even if we ate late in time, we're still gonna be basically stranded in the airport, or just like figure things out to go in a hotel and spend extra 60 at least and be like. So we decided to rent a car, take it from Dallas to Kansas City.
Smart.
Smart,
You
exhausting.
got there the next morning.
We got there the next morning. Smart but exhausting. We took turns, we got there safely. I basically covered that story, so.
That's good.
I'm gonna.
That's a great way to substitute in when you can't control the situation. You make some really good adjustments. That's great. And you got there?
I got there. It was
Quicker.
Very difficult. Very difficult. Yeah. Well, I got there 12 hours later than expected. That's for sure. But I paid a lot for it, like physically, like the exhaustion that I went through, because the trip from Saudi to Emirates was a couple of hours. By the way, you can go through immigration in the Emirates. So when you arrive to Dallas, for example, you will be in the inside,
Really?
in the domestic side, not the
Really?
international. Yes. Yeah, I was in the Emirates and I saw American police officers, like immigration, the usual,
What?
show your I-20, show your papers and everything. It was great.
That is incredible.
It's like unbelievably saves a lot of effort. Because, you know, at the border of the United States, the immigration lines, God knows how long it is. Especially after a couple of 747 Boeings. It's a long line. Some people are... Not everyone will have their paperwork ready like you are. Or not everyone will just go through the system, no problem. Some of them will just kind of hang a little. Hey, you have to sign this, you have to sign that. We have to take a picture of you if it's your first time. But all of that can happen within the Emirates. And then when you get to Dallas or Chicago, will be a domestic flight to Kansas City. And if Chicago is your destination, that will save so much time. Because what's the good thing about the Emirates is if your flight is earlier than the other guy, they will pull you. They're not gonna delay you until you miss the flight. That's a problem that they solved. So if you are way back in the line and then your flight is in an hour or so, like,
Oh, that's real good.
yeah, come back to the front.
I found the Emirates airport to be beautiful. It's huge.
Did you go to Abu Dhabi or
No.
Dubai?
Dubai.
Dubai.
Yeah, I liked it. People were real nice. It was beautiful. Restaurants, things to do, like a shopping center.
Shopping center. So what I get from you is, what I already know is that you are a pretty travel advocate.
I love traveling, and I would be called an advocate of travel. Yeah, global travel, important.
I was basically pushed into it.
For school?
No, it's just me deciding to come to the United States is what made me work on that as well.
What made you decide to come to the United States?
Well, I was watching a lot of Friends.
And you're like, wow, these people are really nice, so they all get along and they hang out every day. Like, it's really something to look forward to at the end of a long day. Wow, I hope it happens like this.
It's not.
I think there are people that get pretty close to that, though, because it's really, really important to them, and their group of friends is really important to them.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
I got to the travel and business, or basically traveling, become a travel advocate because of that. There's one note that I missed, but it basically talks about travel tips.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you are traveling? What do you carry with you? What do you dress?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, always keep calm and arrive early. But what happens between those? It's for you to experience travel a little bit more than the average person, I guess, and then you will know a little bit more.
Have you missed a lot of planes?
No.
No, I've missed one plane.
I've
That's
missed a plane because of immigration lines, though. So
I
they
bet
gave me
so.
another flight.
Oh, good.
It's not because of me.
Mm-hmm. It was because of me. I was at the gate and I slept through the boarding process. That was the only time I missed it. And it was Delta, and the ladies were so nice. They gave me a ticket immediately. It really helped me.
I mean,
people are really nice at the airport. Some people are really nice at the airport. Some are very nice.
well, to look at it from a different point of view, it's pretty stressful. So for people, for a couple of people or a lot of people to become nice, is appreciated. It's a difficult job by itself.
It is.
To be able to keep calm when people exhausted faces, and maybe some of them are like a little bit stressed and maybe a little bit
Hungry.
Hungry.
I am. I'm starving right now. Are you hungry?
I was, but I forgot about it until you mentioned it.
Okay.
I think you're allowed. Look.
Yep.
So I gained a little bit of experience when traveling, which is one of them is if you are not a person who are very used to reading, like very, very used to, like you cannot go to sleep without reading a couple of pages, pick up a book with you. But if you are a person who a little bit of a reader and you pick a book, oh trust me, you're not gonna read it. You might have the time for it, but you're mentally not there. The plane is shaking, noise over here and there. You're not gonna get into that place where you just say, all right, I'm gonna read that book. Fill your backpack with food. Just dry food like candy or cakes, maybe.
Cakes, huh? Candy and cakes, so you can get constipated on the plane.
Yes, which is
You
not a
should
bad
finish
thing.
it off with some prunes.
Which is not a bad thing to be constipated on the plane. See how small those bathrooms are? It's a little bit awkward. Not a little bit, a lot awkward. And they use air suction. No. It's like, did someone... and it just goes quiet. It doesn't fade out or de-escalate. Sometimes if you order a special meal, like an unsalted, vegetarian...
They send you to the bathroom to eat it? No.
They don't send you to the bathroom to eat it. Like
They send you to the bathroom after you eat it.
They get it for you first, actually.
I like plain food. I have fun eating plain food.
It's just sort of part of the experience. It's a part of the experience.
Depends on what airline you're on. It can be really fancy. I mean, you got little Grey Poupon and little, little bottles of Grey Poupon and Heinz ketchup, and you get to open it up, put it on the ketchup.
Yeah, it feels like a movie.
On the fries. It is like that. The burger.
Yeah. But what is the worst moment is? That's
When
when
they tell you.
when you're done with the food and then be like, I'm stuck with it. I need to take a nap.
The worst is, I know as a little child, I always asked what the meal was provided, and when there was no meal, it was very disappointing. So the worst part is if there's no meal on the plane.
That's where the snacks on the back come
Well,
in
they don't
handy.
even, snacks aren't even available all the time anymore.
Well, pack some before you go
Yeah,
to the
that's what I'm
airport.
gonna, some cakes.
Some cakes. Sweet stuff, such as this program. This is called actually Sweet Canal. I
And you're
forgot about
listening
that.
to-
Yeah, you're listening to it from k-row.org.
The archives.
Yeah, from the archives. But the live version, if you are at the same time, like here when we record it,
Yeah.
we actually use a camera to record as well, and put it up on YouTube. Just search for Sweet Canal or local, and you'll still find the same result. Just find an episode or two, and then subscribe and let us know what do you think.
Mm-hmm.
I changed the hashtag.
Okay. What is it?
It's just Sweet Canal. It's a hashtag Sweet Canal.
That's easier.
It's much easier. It speaks for itself. I looked it up. There's only one tweet on it.
Oh, yeah?
That's not a person that we know. It's a general tweet that he used the same hashtag, but we can take over that hashtag instead of K-Roo Canal. So now, send us your love on a hashtag called Sweet Canal. We will listen to you and see what's up.
We're waiting for you to speak to us so then we can listen.
Waiting for you to speak to us so we can listen. You can criticize it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open mic.
It's not an open mic. It's actually just you and I. And
It's not. This one is not an open mic, but it's to be on that hashtag isn't an open.
That's right.
It's an open hashtag. It's an open.
We'll listen to him.
We'll listen to them. Right. So. Other travel tips. Include a USB port or a charger with you for your phone/phones. Fully charge your phones before you start your trip. Bring a power bank or a couple of power banks. Usually planes have USB ports that you can use for a charger.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot connect to the Wi-Fi on the airplanes, so just turn off your phone. You will save a lot of battery on it.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare yourself for the worst. Like, if it gets delayed, I got food. If I cannot connect to my friend when I arrive, airports have Wi-Fi.
It might get cold on the plane. They've got blankets.
They got blankets. You
And
can
a
bring your
pillow.
own. You can bring your own. So a little bit. Please do not use a belt. Use pants that doesn't require a belt. Also, if you have shoes that are difficult to take off, do not use them. Such as these ones. No. Use shoes that are like flip-flops, basically.
Mhm.
You can take them off whenever you
Mhm.
like to. Try to not wear flip-flops though.
Mm-hmm. Like penny loafers. Something easy to get into, like kids' shoes, Vans, Converse. Sometimes even your shoes get too big and it's hard to fit in the aisle. It is, they get so bulky and big. Some of them have pumps on them, some of them have wings, they make you fly. They have skates on them. At least the kids' ones do.
If your luggage is gonna go overweight, just go to the maximum weight. It's like, usually it's 48 pounds, and if you go over, whatever you go over to up to like 70 or 60 or something, you will pay the same amount. So if you are in that ballpark of that 20 pounds, just go to the maximum. Or go below, like if above or below.
I've been going on Spirit Airlines a lot, and they will tell you to make sure that you go check your luggage if it's a certain weight, but they don't ever check you. So interesting. I mean, there is protocol, and if you know how the protocol works, sometimes you can figure out some other opportunities for yourself. You can figure out how you don't have to pay a baggage fee, okay? That's basically the thing. They're now getting us for baggage fees, which they didn't used to do. That's a new thing in the last couple of years. I don't know. But it's really annoying.
It is.
It's a lot of money. If you're not getting a meal and you're not getting a bed, they're charging you for your luggage, like a ticket for your luggage. Your luggage needs a plane ticket to fly with you. is basically what's going on.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it.
So sometimes you try to sneak it under your shirt, or you like put it on like you got a giant bag, or a bat.
You can basically
Bag on your back.
wear them, wear your clothes, wear as much as clothes, layers as possible.
Over them.
Yeah. And then like your luggage will just contain a laptop and stuff, and you'll be like, oh, let me get through this gate. This is too small. One time I was in the airport in Kansas City and I had locks on my luggage.
Mm-hmm.
Those locks are not the usual United States made locks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not made in here. It was made somewhere else. It's not usual for the States to use them to lock my luggage. I just like checked them in, and I went through the security as usual, and water and so on. Just keep an empty bottle, and then before you go to the airplane, just fill it up. And you become thirsty on the airplane, that's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they will make you maybe drink that water before you go in. So just fill it up before you get on. After you go through the security, and then there's a waterfall, then you can fill it up. I went through security and everything in Kansas City, and in a strange way I heard my name, and I'm like, yeah, it's one of those moments when you hear your name, but it's not. It was actually my name. Mohammed, please come to the front desk. Oh, what did I do? It's not good to hear your name on that thing. I went back quickly and I asked them, I said, what's up? They said, we cannot open your bags because you have a weird lock on them. So just bring them out, open them. No, please don't call me again. I don't think. I got scared. I think I called in the airport. That accompanied me to one time I was in Chicago and I heard a name that looks like mine, and I got really, really nervous. And I'm like, I'm just eating right here. I hope I don't get cops around me and say, all right, you need to go back. I don't want that to happen. The Kansas City experience was a miniature experience of it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.